Hey, if you stopped on my channel, it's probably because you have a small business or you want to start a small business, or you're in what I call the beginning of small business side hustle phase, right? So if the only reason I do a video, the only reason I did this channel, man, was because when I first started, I didn't have anywhere to look and nobody to talk to, because everybody has this same notion from generations past about money, and it's let's don't talk about money. You know, it's not proper to be, you know, out in open forum talking about how to make more money or whatever, right? So Elon's got something funny that he says that I like is, you know, instead of you know, wedding parties or you know, pre-birth parties, whatever you want to call those, we should have your friend is opening a business party, right? And you come and, you know, expand their mind and give them stuff that, you know, would help them start a business. But basically in 2024, we have those, man, right here on the internet, right here on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. Social media has opened. We live in a time, man, that none of our people before us have lived in, right? We're able to study people that we have no general access to, but we do through social media channels and YouTube, right? So we can study people who have done great things, right? And especially, you know, a lot of people are rejecting the notion that it's no longer okay to, or that it is now okay to talk about money and, you know, talk about, you know, how to be successful and how to do things or whatever. And, you know, I believe a lot of people are called to teach, and they do that in the business world too, right? So, but we can study people from afar. And I would encourage you, if you're just starting out, to find people that you align with in or outside of your industry. It really doesn't matter. Business is business, right? But find them and study them, man. You know, you can watch their life from afar. Now, sometimes social media is a little bit tricky because people are flaunting and doing goofy stuff or whatever with rented Lambos. But that isn't really what you're after. If you're starting a small business, man, you're trying to provide for your family and, you know, get out of this rat race that is this 9-to-5 jungle of nonsense that most of the world lives in, right? So, but when I first started out, if you don't know anything about me, I'm Corey Kearney. I own a couple car dealerships in Louisville, Kentucky, do a little bit of real estate. I have an indoor baseball facility that I operate with some friends of mine. That's not really an entrepreneurial, venture, but it is fun and it will make money. So that's good. But that's just a little bit about me. That, you know, that's something I do with my kids too, the baseball. But yeah, so I've done a lot of things wrong, like a ton of shit wrong. But I've done a few things right too, man. I've won some, right? You know, I'm 35 years old. I've owned several car dealerships and looking to expand those, and they do very, very well. So I do have a little bit of insight on and I started literally from nothing, right? Like I barely had enough to buy 3 cheap cars when I first started. So, but I had nowhere to go to find out, you know, if I was doing enough, if I was at the right level, because, you know, when you start to gain a little steam, you're like, okay, cool. This didn't totally flop. This small business that I just started, you know, you start to wonder and measure because there's nobody really. You know, it's not a race, right? Where 15 people line up and you know exactly who's beating you and who's not, and you know how much ground you need to make up. That it's not real. You're in the open ocean. So if you know, it took me several years to find people that I respected and that I could trust, you know, to give me decent information about where I was to go or whatever. So that was really a struggle when I first started out. Was, you know, how do I do this, right? You know, because people are going to give you bad information, you know, like, you know, I talked to other car guys when I first got started, and it was, you know, I'm like, hey, you know, how much money should I be netting? How much should I pay my employees? How much, you know, should I be paying in transportation fees? How much should I be paying for this or that? And, you know, just all the stuff or whatever. And car guys give me 2 answers, right? Well, I make $1 million a day, or I don't make anything. And both of them things were lies, right? So it took me several years to find some people that I could study from afar on social media and YouTube and different platforms, that I could kind of model some things around. And yeah, man, I mean, so you could do this, man. In 2024, we have a very unique opportunity that we have access to people that we normally, 10, 15, 20 years ago, we didn't have access to. And for the, all of history, we didn't have access to these people unless we could go get in their vicinity. Well, nowadays you can turn your iPhone on, bro, and you're in their vicinity. So if I could give any advice to you, it would be to find someone in or outside of your industry and study them, right? Study exactly what they're doing. You can look at their fruits and see exactly, if they're expanding or not expanding, or they're, you'll quickly find out if they're nonsense or not, right? So I would encourage you to do that. And, hopefully if you're in the small business sector, dude, I'm your guy, man. Like, I'll help you out. If subscribe here, hit me, I have all my social links in my profile, but send me a private message, and, I would love to connect with you. I'm quite sure that I could learn something from you. And if I could teach you anything, I'm more than happy to do so, man. I don't need to help you, but I want to help you, right? So, because I didn't have that help myself when I first got started. So, subscribe, guys. Appreciate you watching. See you. Be great.